Hello everyone! I recently realized that to create truly interesting, beautiful and cross-platform applications in 2025 you need to know HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I have basic knowledge of these technologies, however, once I tried to build something solid and functional using only this set of technologies, I realized that the result was quite mixed. On one hand, you might get a decent outcome, but as soon as you look under the hood of your application, you find messy imperative code that's hard to scale. So, as a grown man, I decided to make the single most important decision of my life, to choose a JavaScript framework and figure out whether I need one at all. To do this, I tried the 5 most popular solutions at the moment and picked the one that suited me the best. This video is not a tier list, but simply a way to share my thoughts on the technologies I may potentially work with. To properly taste each framework, I decided to build the exact same application in each one of them. A simple to-do app. The frameworks will be evaluated according to the following criteria: ease of use, documentation, community and ecosystem, encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and syntax. I started my journey with React. To be honest, before recording this video, I had already built full-stack applications with this framework, so it wasn't my first time. My thoughts on this technology were already fairly formed, but I'll still tell you how the process of creating the to-do app went. First, I mentally broke the application into components, ending up with this structure. We have the search bar, which accepts the query defined in the parent component, so as we have the to-do list, which accepts to-dos as a prop to render the to-dos within to-do cards, and we have a create panel to create new to-dos. I then use the same structure for all applications in this video. After creating a project with it, I saw an intuitive and simple project hierarchy, giving me the freedom to organize it as I liked. I created separate directories for components, CSS and the to-do type, which I would use throughout this video. React uses JSX for component source code. JSX is JavaScript on steroids, which can also return pure HTML when needed. To store state in React, we use the useState hook. A hook is a function that lets developers access some features of the framework, whether it's creating state, running code when state changes, and so on. React has many hooks, but for our applications only 3 were needed. In a root component, I created 3 variables: query, to-dos, and loading. When the page first loads, I want to retrieve all to-dos saved in local storage and set them in the to-dos state variable. This hook runs a callback function whenever at least one dependency changes. If the dependency array is empty, the code runs only once in the first render. Here's the search bar. Notice the query is a prop imported from the root component. Props are data a component receives from its parent. I also passed the function to update the query variable and a callback for when the user clicks the search button. In summary, React is a solid and simple framework I'd recommend to beginners in web development. It sets a basic understanding of what a JavaScript framework is. So these are the final words I can say about React. Ease of use, incredibly simple if you already know JavaScript. However, React can cause more harm if you haven't learned the basics such as the component lifecycle. Documentation, React has good documentation with examples without unnecessary complexity. Community and ecosystem, the most popular framework and in-demand framework today, meaning it has the richest community and ecosystem full of packages and solutions that may fit you the best. Encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Well, React allows combining JavaScript and HTML, but not CSS. Styles still have to be imported from a separate file and edited in another tab, which I see as a downside. Syntax, I can say nothing special. I had heard a lot about this framework and was very interested in it because one of my friends used it to build their own application. My first impression came from the project structure. It reminded me a lot of React, which was a big plus. I also organized my components inside a component directory. As you may notice, Vue uses its own .vue file format. A Vue file has the following structure: script for JavaScript logic used by the component, template for HTML, style for CSS styles, which can be scoped or global. Started by writing the same code as in React. Note that ref is not a hook but a function from the Reactivity API. The term hook in Vue means something entirely different. One killer feature in Vue for me is emits. With emit, you can notify the parent component of changes in a child component and pass data about the change. This makes the search component much more powerful compared to React. To listen for child emits, you use the at syntax, very convenient and readable. A couple of other features I liked in Vue are conditionals with special directives and interactions with other directives, very convenient and cool. Another very handy feature was element wrapping. You can just render an HTML element directly. Well, okay, you still have to add CSS. Here's the equivalent code from React. I was very pleased with Vue. It feels like a truly strong, powerful, and at the same time relatively simple tool. Ease of use. Probably the easiest framework to use, though I initially had some troubles understanding Ref. Still, Vue is very intuitive. Documentation. Vue's documentation is better than React's. There is a great interactive tutorial after which I built the app almost without looking back at the doc. Community and ecosystem. Vue is the second largest and most popular framework in the web development community, so no issues here. Encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Everything inside one file, split into sections. You can edit multiple components on one screen. Syntax. Neither problematic or super simple, just normal syntax. I'll admit right away, my expectations for this framework were low because of the negative things I heard about it, so my opinion may be somewhat biased. Angular structure is a bit different from other frameworks. Being wary of the unfamiliar, I googled how to properly and idiomatically organize the working directory and followed that approach. I'm not sure if I got misled or if that's generally how Angular projects are structured, but it felt overly complex for such a small project. Maybe I should have ignored the good practices, but whatever. Angular components are TypeScript classes, or more precisely classes with the component decorator. This decorator specifies the component's name, HTML template, CSS styles, and other options. Although a component here contains HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, it doesn't feel as complete as in Vue. State in a component is simply a class field that you can reference in HTML. Any functions needed for the component are also inside the class. With decorators or functions, you can also define inputs, outputs, or services via dependency injection. The dependency injection is Angular's killer feature. You can create many services, which are basically classes with the injectable decorator, and then use them in components. This way, our to-do type and all related functions become a service. Here's the search bar, and here's the whole application. I found the parenthesis syntax in Angular very confusing. Ease of use. Angular is both simple and complex at the same time, mostly due to the poor syntax. If it were my first framework, I'd be lost. Documentation. Somewhere between React and Vue, I was able to build the app easily after completing the tutorial. Community and ecosystem. Angular is relatively large and backed up by Google, so you won't find yourself in reinventing the wheel. Encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. It's there, but not in a way I personally like it. Syntax. Very confusing. Round and square brackets mean different things. Most importantly, they can even be used together. I decided to remind myself what it's like to code without the framework to understand the difference. I did this midway through my journey, not at the start, to feel better the contrast between having and not having framework functionality. I began by writing HTML markup in index.html, then created index.css and put component style in the CSS folder. At the top of my script, I created a variable to store all the app's to-dos, and also declared frequently used HTML elements, retrieving them with document.getElementById. Next, I singled out the search button and attached a click listener to update the to-do list. I also added a listener to the create to-do button. I skipped the validation out of laziness. And also I realized I should have added the listener on the form rather than button. Then I had to write a few functions to render the list on the page. Ease of use? I won't say vanilla JavaScript is easy, especially compared to React or Vue, but it's not rocket science either. Documentation? MD and docs is your main helper. Most pages there are written well. Community and ecosystem. People used to write code without frameworks a long time ago, so the community and ecosystem for plain JavaScript are massive. Encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Syntax. I had heard a lot about this framework from Fireship and from the passionate love developers express for it on Stack Overflow surveys. I had been looking forward to working with Svelte throughout my journey, saving it as the dessert. Svelte isn't a typical framework, but actually a compiler that takes all the messy code you write and turns it into targeted JavaScript, resulting in a very small bundle size and high performance. The project structure is a slightly modified version of React and Vue. Components in Svelte are written in .svelte files, which like Vue encapsulate HTML, CSS and JavaScript in a very pleasant form. For example, here's the search bar. Instead of passing the query value via a method, we simply bind the parent's query to the child's query. The equivalent of React's use effect here is on mount, which runs when the component first renders. As you'd expect from a mature framework, Svelte has everything you need for conditionals and loops. You may notice that some functions in Svelte have a suspiciously jQuery-like syntax. Don't worry, we are not resurrecting the old man. What you're seeing are runes. Not those runes, nor those. These runes, yes. They work somewhat like React hooks. I often ran into errors when trying to use certain features in runes mode that weren't allowed. Honestly, I still don't understand what runes mode is, but it sounds cool. Here's the final application. Ease of use. Svelte is like React, but you have to think a bit more. Still, it's simple and intuitive. Documentation. I think Svelte has the best tutorial and solid documentation. You probably haven't had such a deep, simple and amazing learning experience before. Community and ecosystem. This is Svelte's biggest downside. It's a relatively new technology that hasn't yet gained huge popularity, meaning you'll often run into problems you'll have to solve yourself or build entirely from scratch. Encapsulation of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Perfect, just like Vue. Syntax. Fun, convenient and understandable. That brings us to the end of the video. If anyone actually made it this far, you're probably wondering which framework I chose. It's Vue. Vue stood out to me as strong, serious, incredibly simple tool. I'd be happy to use Svelte, but due to its small ecosystem and my still developing skills as a web developer, I'm not ready for it yet.